licensure. We've talked about it before. It's worth bringing back again. I said, look, PT was started almost 100 years ago. Things have changed in 100 years. We have better ways to learn. Do we need to go sit in a classroom to learn how to be a therapist? Does sitting in a classroom even teach us how to be a therapist? And then I said licensure, like, okay, 50, 60 years ago, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have social media. Maybe if somebody was doing something illegal, unethical, whatever, we needed a way to control that. Today, if I sneeze in the wrong direction, I'm going to be all over social media. So it's like, does licensure actually, quote, protect the public? I don't think it does. I think it's a joke. I shared on a post, look, I got licensed in 2006. Nothing has happened since then. As long as I pay my dues and I submit my CEUs, I could be a completely different person than the day I was licensed in 2006, almost 20 years later. It is not protecting the public in any reasonable way. And my feeling, real quick, is that it provides a false sense of security. Because then therapists came out and they were like, well, what's the difference between us and personal trainers and all that stuff? I said, you would look at somebody without a license more critically because you have no sense of who this person is. Once I say I have a license to practice physical therapy, it immediately legitimizes what I do and who I am, even if I'm completely off the rails. So I think it gives false sense of security. It's more detrimental than beneficial. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's seatbelts on airplanes.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree with you. So, like, there's a bunch of barbershops nearby, right? Salons and barbershops. In terms of public safety and public health, right? So, like, even those individuals, barbers and salon stylists, whatever, like, even they have to be licensed. I think in most states, definitely in New York. And of course, it doesn't mean that they're all going to be great or they're all going to like clean their clippers between every customer like they're supposed to. But in general, it enforces or it has a certain hurdle or a certain standard and guidelines for a professional that's a service-based business, for example. Like we'll talk about physical therapy or massage therapy or barbers or salons or, any other place that requires a license. It tries to filter out. It's not going to be a panacea. I agree with you, Tony, somewhat, but in general, yes, it is for public health and public safety for a lot of these. Like I want to have a licensed person that comes here that is like a plumber or someone that's like if they screw something up, there's some recourse there. Like if we hurt a patient, there's some recourse there's some ways that they can say like, wait, did they have certain sufficient knowledge or licensure or even being whatever bonded and certified and all those other things for different service-based providers. So in general, it's trying to protect the public. And then if someone has sciatica and they go to a personal trainer and the personal trainer stretches them like crazy and makes them worse or they can't walk anymore, then that person, of course, not every consumer is going to like do all their due diligence and say like, wait, you're a personal trainer. You're not a physical therapist. You're not a massage therapist, whatever. We know that the public in general is kind of lazy about this whole thing of like doing background checks and checking out your service providers or whatever. So I think that's why states and federal or whatever have kind of instituted some of this stuff with licensure and certifications and some of these like hurdles and guidelines and structures. I don't know. Jimmy, what do you think?
It's the illusion of all the things that you said. It is that is what it's trying to do, but it's an illusion. Like, you're talking about like a plumber coming and you want some recourse. That's insurance. That's not licensure, right?
And if you're not licensed, you don't have that insurance. So if someone comes in, if someone says I'm a plumber, they screw up my plumbing, my house explodes, something crazy. Now I cannot sue them, right? Can I sue them personally? I don't know, but like I don't have as much recourse as a consumer to right the wrong that was done and that person was acting like a plumber or whatever.
That person can't say plumber. They might be able to say handyman. Maybe that's like a great parallel, like plumber, handyman, physical therapist, personal trainer, or stretchologist, or any of those things. It's like in society, anybody can sue anybody. But understanding what that thing is you're buying safety. Like you're buying an emotional feeling like this is the right person, right? If I'm thinking about finances, am I looking for a CPA or a fiduciary or a financial planner? I'm pretty sure I could, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I could take a course this weekend on LinkedIn and become a financial planner tomorrow. Now, I might not be very good, but that gives you at least a context over the area that I've now decided I'm going to be working in the domain of. I wish it did work better, but I do think it's an illusion of those things. Like Tony said, man, I graduated in 2016. As long as I check these 3 boxes, is pay my dues and knock out some CEUs online, I have that. What happens in the which goes back to full circle of AI documentation. This is why we document. This is why I think good people document way too much. Is they're just trying to pretend, or they're trying to protect themselves from what's coming up behind them. We probably over document instead of under documenting. I think in the grand scheme of things, it was a good pitch to be able to say to lobbyists to try to make the argument of why we should get paid more. I don't think that's how it works. I think it worked out best for schools. Schools got to put icing on a taller cake without, they added 5% and charged 20% more. And I want to be in that business every day.
So hang on real quick.
Go ahead.
Yes, you can still be sued. If a handyman comes in and wrecks my house, I can sue them. I can also, on the flip side, be a plumber that doesn't have insurance, right? The two are completely separate. And to Jimmy's point, it is the illusion of safety. And I think that was more impactful 50 years ago, before we had so much access to so much information and we can touch everybody and learn about everybody and do all of these things. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying maybe the world has changed so much. It's worth looking at this from a new light, from a new perspective. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay. So specifically on that with licensure, Tony, is the public safer because of licensure in physical therapy or plumbing or whatever? Is the public safer in general? Not no. Like the illusion part of to the side. No, I disagree with that as well.
Okay, so let's hit it real quick and then we won't keep on this. I would say licensure is evidence from a third party to say this person took an exam and they passed the exam. That's it. That's all it tells me.
And that pool of people will become safer in the public. No, those professionals will result in safer practices. That's the assumption. But in general, the percentage would be this: they're safer in the public, running around doing their service, whatever the service is.
I mean,
but we don't check up on them.
What?
We don't check up on them. There's no follow up. It's like you passed the test in 2016. That's the what I think licensure.
Do you guys all have driver's licenses, or you don't have driver's licenses?
Yes.
So yeah.
Why? Isn't that an illusion?
Yes. It's exactly an illusion. This has nothing to do with my driving ability. I took that when I was 16.
Plus, I mean, I don't know about your demographic. I get patients that can't walk across the clinic and they drive themselves to therapy. I've got patients that have confusion, visual impairments, physical impairments, and they drive by themselves. It's scary.
Now, how would society be if there was no driver's license? If there was just like when you're 10 or 12 or whatever, you just get in a car, there's no training, there's no driver's license, there's no driving school, there's no permitting.
Hold on.
There would be more accidents. There would be more accidents.
Hold on. There's 100%. A difference between a 10-year-old doing something and an adult, right? Because we said like our brains aren't fully formed.
But they're going to be in the population of people driving if they're 12, 14, 16, whatever. No driving school, no license, no permitting. There would be more accidents.
Yeah,
in America.
That place is called New Jersey. If you've been to New Jersey, that is exactly what it is like, and we avoid it at all costs, my friend.
Yes, agreed.
I can
agree on that.
Have you guys seen the media? Two things. Have you seen the media coverage on Springboro, Ohio, or Springfield, Ohio?
Yes.
Okay, we don't have to get into it, but the part of Dave's argument is going on in Springfield with with accidents. Okay, Dave, I was driving since I was, I want to say 12 or 13. Never got into an accident. I was driving years before I had a driver's license. I'm not saying it's not illegal. I'm saying
You're
this was
unique.
the
You're
reality.
unique. You cannot compare yourself to
I'm
all
not
other
comparing
Americans.
myself,
You're a
but
unique
what I'm
person.
saying is there is still the idea, and maybe this goes back to political views, libertarian. Do you really think there's anyone in government, like in these bureaucracies, that's licensure or anything like that, like the person at the DMV, whoever you want to point the finger to, are they really keeping us safe? And driving, as an example, is a self-limiting behavior. You're putting your own self at risk. I don't think we give individuals at any age enough credit